Hello everybody and welcome once again to Casual Gamer Oz. We are now into round 12 of our second season on career mode. Ben Waterworth driving for Sauber. We're at the Hockenheim ring in Germany. My name is Ben Waterworth and this is basically how I would drive if I really was in Formula 1. Let's have a bit of a recap of Hungary. Qualified in 21st. Not too happy with that. Got a great start, managed to get up to 12th position and held on to that for most of the race until I ran wide, lost a bunch of positions. Then in a bit of a racing moment with a Manor, I kind of got sideswiped. It was a very weird moment which spun me backwards. I came onto the track, clipped my teammate, got a penalty for it, but it didn't matter. I was going to finish dead last anyway. I was at least satisfied that I got 2 consecutive race finishes for the first time since the beginning of the season. Can we make it 3? 3 times finishing a race in a row for the very first time in my career. Let's get into Germany. Qualified 10th last year and finished in 9th. It was only my second ever points finish at this point last season. So, yeah, I did well last year, but remember I said that about Canada, and we saw what happened there, as has been the case for most of the Grand Prix this season around. Again, as always, I like Hockenheim. It's a good circuit. I much prefer the old layout, pre-2002, but we're here now, and I generally do okay in it. This corner is always a tricky one. It's just this corner that you'll see coming up to the stadium section, which I always talk up, saying that if you bin it, you're screwed. If you get it right, you're fairly okay. But that hairpin too is one of those make it or break it corners as well. Now Hamilton in front of his Mercedes grandstand there. Just gonna hold on to this into this bit here. Now, this is a corner. This is a make or break corner. Let's see what we can do, and we've got it. That's good. All right. That's that section 1. We make a bit of ground on Lewis here. Sneak up into the top 10. It would be handy. It would be handy, and it would be great if we could have a dry race tomorrow, because I think from memory it was a wet race last year in Germany, was it not? As we come now into the final corner. Oh no, I've gone too wide, and he's just lost the back end of the car. Where did I end up? 18th, still good work. Well, I think I was on for a higher finish than that. Oh, well, again, you know your team's satisfied with it. Ricciardo got pole. I know I'm not to look at that until race day. At least one Australian did alright. Yeah, I don't know what to say. 18th, I guess we'll take it. Let's go into race day. Boy, oh boy. Okay, let's do it. Now, last year I was 6th on track, I think, from memory. 6th or 7th, and I had a penalty, and I still managed to hold on to points place. So I was satisfied with that. And it was a wet race from memory. I battled with Ferraris and had Williams behind me, and, you know, I was nervous about those. So, yeah, I'm just trying to remember back to last season. 475 points there for our R&D. I think that should give us enough to be able to develop the car. Oh, don't tell me that's rain. Is that rain? Oh, fuck. We're going to go with the power ignition. That's going to give me engine power heading into Belgium and Italy. That is the smart, logical thing to do. I think I saw a wet track. No! Can we not have just consecutive Grand Prix weekends without some rain? Oh, my lordy lordy. Alright, is it wet? It's fucking wet. Of course it's fucking wet. Fuck you in the butthole with a wet umbrella. Ricciardo, that's what happens. I jinxed myself by looking at the pole position first. Ricciardo on pole, Hamilton there in second, Ricciardo followed by Vettel in 4th place. Very close qualifying there. Look at the sector times there. Raikkonen 5th, Alonso, Button, Verstappen, well down on his teammate Bottas. Perez again out qualifying Hülkenberg. Massa 11th, Hülkenberg 12th, Grosjean, Gutierrez, Sainz, Magnussen, Palmer, me. I'm going to qualify fucking Palmer, really. Verline, Kvyat, Haryanto, and Nazar. Catherine, I mentioned a few videos ago, one of our long-term listeners, mentioned that my avatar looks like Joel Creasley. I think his name is the stupid douchebag who's one of the co-commentators in Australian Eurovision, a quote comedian who blocked me because I bagged him out so much during Eurovision. So suck it up, Joel Creasley. It really, no wonder he's so ugly. Anyway, rough and racing here in Germany. Put it onto rich mode early, shall we? Pay attention to the racetrack, Ben, because you're probably going to end up with a damaged front wing coming into this corner. Shock horror, well, not yet. There's still plenty of time to damage your front wing, Ben. Don't get too ahead of yourself. As we come up here, usually can make a few positions. Yep, there we go. There's the front wing damage. You knew it was coming. And that was Verstappen. He's dropped back. He started 8th and he's down into 10th. Well, I guess the positive news to come out of from that little tap, ladies and gentlemen, is I didn't get a penalty for once. So, again, small victories, small wins. You know, the consistency level of this game. And you've got to kind of turn it in there a little bit to avoid clipping. And, oh, Jesus, Fernando. I think that was Fernando. It was Jensen. One of you is deciding to get a bit intimate with my rear end. Goodness me. Luckily, he doesn't spin me around. And keeping it on the island is key. So, I'm basically in the position I was last year. 6th place. And this time around, though, positive news. No penalty. Still a slightly damaged front wing. But again, it doesn't, at the present time, still plenty of time, of course, feel like it's affecting the car too much. Alright, into the stadium section. We'll just keep it close to the racing line. And yes, we know I have a racing line on. Boo-hoo. This is Casual Gamer Oz. I need to keep explaining that to people. That is why we have a racing line on, folks. Okay, unlike qualifying, we can maintain ourselves on the circuit. Remember, I got a fastest lap back in Silverstone. Can we just point that out? I don't think we've really celebrated that fact too much, folks. I now am the official owner of a Formula 1 record in a fastest lap. Although I've also gotten, 3 pole positions, if I'm not mistaken. So that's alright, we've just got to get the win now. This is obviously career Season 2 on F1 2016, and we're going to cap this at only 2 seasons, because by the time we're finished with this one, we're all going to be well into F1 2017, and that's what you want to see. And I've already decided who I'm going to drive for in F1 2017. I might announce that towards the end of this season, though, to keep me in a bit of suspenders, because I'm sure you're all waiting. I'm not going to be driving for Sauber. I will just point that out. I've had enough of Sauber. I love you guys, but at the same time, I was very disappointed that no one wanted to offer me a drive any other team after my first season, considering that I took a fucking Sauber to 2 pole positions, 2 podiums. That deserved at least a fucking look in by Renault or Haas or fucking Toro Rosso. I mean, how terrible of Toro Rosso. Even Manor didn't want me. Jesus. Anyway, focus on the track here, Ben. Middle purple sector there. Alright, once again, full wet race. The car showing a little bit of pace. Just hanging on the back of the Ferraris here, just hanging on to them. Not as close as I would like to be to make a move, but I'm also not far enough that possibility at some point in this race might not be. And it looks like I've got a bit of a gap over Bottas behind me. Now, as we cross the line, sadly don't set a fastest lap, but I set a final purple as well. So maybe I can set another fastest lap here, folks. Once again, the Sauber enjoying the full wets, and we are on full wets, and we're not on the inters. That's what we like to have if we're going to have a wet race. I think Hungary was the first fully dry race we've had, probably since Bahrain. And if I'm not mistaken, only the second full dry race we've had all season was Canada fully dry. Oh, I have a terrible memory. I am like a goldfish. Alright, into the hairpin, into the hairpin. Can we risk it on Kimi? I think we will. I think we will. He's going to clip me. He's got me. Got to drive out of it, Kimi. Oh, I had a big enough gap behind me, though, that no one's going to force their way behind that. And that's just the tricky thing. That's one thing that I used to really dislike about the Codemasters game. If you kind of got yourself into a locked battle like that with a car, you just couldn't release yourself. It was a really bad glitch in the early F1 games that they released. But I think they've slightly improved it there. I mean, I still was locked in with him for a little bit longer, and it's cost me time, as you can see. But at the end of the day, I've increased myself a position, and shock horror, I didn't get a penalty for it, and I got no damage to the car from it. So, although it's kind of cost me that gap to his teammate, if it was a cleaner move, I could have been challenging for Vettel's position. At least I've managed to gain a position. No damage, no penalty. We'll take that as a victory. Okay, penultimate lap right now. Pulling slightly away from Kimi. So that's another positive I guess you can have. He's not in a position really to attack me right now, but I don't think I'm going to have enough time to catch his teammate, and I think 5th is mine to lose, and I don't think I'm going to have enough time to get up to 4th position in this Grand Prix, barring a mistake. And again, as I keep saying with F1 2017, it looks like there'll be more car failures in it, not just your own, but also the other drivers will have failures. And the only footage I've seen is kind of like 25% race distance, 50% race distance. I haven't seen any in the 5-lap zone. So I'm just wondering if they will kind of simulate it to a point where, you know, obviously 3 laps in, you know, with a certain percentage of the race, what's that, like 60% of the race. So, you know, would there be more failures at a certain point of a Grand Prix? So that would be interesting to see. Like if all of a sudden right now we're on, you know, the penultimate lap, sort of the 80% part of the race, whether or not that means that certain cars would be likely to get damaged. You know, a Honda, for example, is going to probably break down quite significantly. And given in this game, they're very lenient with McLaren. They tend to make them sort of the easiest team to develop. And really, in every single career mode I've ever done, within a season of the first season, they're always challenging for victories, as clearly they've won Grand Prix this season and gotten pole position. So they obviously weren't as bad as they were last season. They're not as bad as they were this season last season. But I just wonder if they're going to take that into effect for this F1 2017. Anyway, concentrate, Ben. You're in your last lap, and Raikkonen's closed in slightly on you here. So you've just got to do a clean lap here, no mistakes, and 5th position is yours. Where did I start in the track? I was like 18th, wasn't I? So that is a good result. Again, you're just jinxing yourself, Ben. You're getting ahead of yourself. What's happened in 2 last laps in the last few Grand Prix? In Austria and Hungary, you were on for good finishes, and you binned it. So let's focus, hocus pocus focus, and you could be on for 3 Grand Prix finishes in a row for the first time in your little career. Consecutive, no, it wasn't points finish in Hungary. Well, 2 of the last 3 would be points finishes, so that's something. And heading in to a few races that you're alright. Well, Button's just overtaken Raikkonen there, so that means that we could have a racing McLaren on my butt very soon. You know, you've only got one section coming up here that you can have to hold on to. The rest here you're generally okay at. Generally okay, Ben. Okay. It's going to be big celebrations from this side of the screen. If I could do this, let's just brake a little bit early and tiptoe our way around this corner. I've said so much how it's a tricky corner, and in every single lap I've done of Hockenheim since you've been watching me do this, I haven't fucked up on it once. So that's good. Surely now we can keep this on the island. We know what happened in that last corner in qualifying. There is a possibility here. I'm just going to really tiptoe into this final corner. I'm just going to tiptoe, and that should be enough. I'm going to cross the line and get 5th position in Germany. Thank you very much. We will take it for the first time. I get consecutive Grand Prix in terms of my career mode. Points last year in Germany, points this year. And 3 Grand Prix finishes in a row. After 16S, we get 3 finishes in a row. Oh, Ricciardo sadly didn't hold on to the win. Well, that's disappointing. He obviously got 2nd. Hamilton wins. Just a replay of the start. I did damage my front wing slightly, didn't I? So I guess we'll just have a bit of a gander at what went on here. Ricciardo got a slow start by the looks of things. Meanwhile, I'm in the back, and I duck into the inside here of the Haas, clip the other Haas. Now, whereabouts is it? It's up into this corner here, isn't it? There I get a bit of a clip on the front wing, come in there late, braking into the Red Bull of Verstappen. Just a tiny bit of my end plate there, so not too bad. And that allowed me to sort of move towards, which I think I grab a few more positions coming up here into the hairpin, do I not? Well, of course, later on where I obviously get a bit racy with Kimi. And look at this for a move. Down on there, 4 cars if you don't mind. And Jensen will clip me slightly. Yeah, he does. And that held me up. If I didn't get that, then I probably would have been a lot closer to those Ferraris. Where, of course, later on I would clip Kimi. We won't need to see that. There we go. Hamilton from Ricciardo, Rosberg, Vettel. I started 18th, made up 13 places, if you don't mind. Button in 6th, Raikkonen, Alonso. Bottas only with the 2 points, so I've gained 8 points now. I should overtake him there in the championship. Perez in 10th place. Do I overtake him? Yes, I do, you little beauty. Hamilton leads by 30 points over Rosberg. Ricciardo could have used that win. I think his championship's done now. Alonso 4th, Raikkonen 5th. Vettel overtakes Button up into 6th place. Verstappen still struggling. Perez in 9th. And there I am, Can I catch Sergio Perez? I'm only 15 points off my target, and I've matched my last season record of least getting 3 points finishes. So there you go. And I'm up in 10th, 20 points. Happy with that. Constructors-wise, oh, we've overtaken Williams as well. Yes. Alrighty, we're doing well here, Sauber. We're doing well. Mercedes romping away once again, but it's all to play for second place in the championship. McLaren, Ferrari, and Red Bull only separated by 6 points, if you don't mind. Force India in 5th there. We're only 20 points behind Force India. Williams 7 points. Haas 3 points. And you know what I'm going to say. Toro Rosso, Manor, Renault, no points at all. We are going to be back, of course, for Belgium. Another interesting race, which is sure I'm probably going to bin it, but we'll wait and see how that goes. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and everything else in the meantime. Thank you for tuning in to Casual Gamer Oz. I've finished 3 races in a row. It's time to celebrate. Good night.